I began to notice children coming in, apple-cheeked, out of breath, cheery, hair stuck to their head and glowing with health, like children should. And at that moment I thought, they're happy. This is actually making these children happy. And what surprised everyone was that the children loved it so much. And that's the key thing. If they didn't like it, you couldn't make it happen.
You will see an improvement in levels of health and activity, just because if you do 15 minutes of activity per day, you do get fitter. But actually it's been some of the unintended consequences associated with it. So they're much more ready for difficult learning after they've had a burst of activity. They'll say that their relationships with pupils improve because teachers will do it alongside the pupils. They're of an equal to them when they're doing that, and they'll have really useful conversations with them. Someone like Hope Capel have been really good at getting older pupils to mentor younger pupils on the mile, and there's not many opportunities to make natural mentoring opportunities, so it's done that. And there have been unintended consequences. So, for example, at the Rondan, they've got a lot of children there who have breathing difficulties. And by going out, doing activity for the 15 minutes first thing in the morning, it helps them clear all that, and then they're more comfortable throughout the day. Well, we never knew that was going to happen. So there were all these unintended consequences, as well as the basic one of them being more active and fit.
We know that physical activity levels in childhood are associated with physical activity levels in adulthood. So more active people generally stay more active. Now, that's not to say that if you're not active when you're young, you can't be active when you're older, but it's very important to build those physical activity habits early on. But it's not just a habit, it's the functional skills. So it's what we call fundamental movement skills of running, jumping, catching, throwing, being competent in those things. Now, the Daily Mile can contribute to that because it gives kids a chance to be competent in running and walking and being active with their friends. And that gives them a sense of confidence that then they can do these things, they can compete, they can run, they can have fun all the way through their life. So it gives, I think, kids a chance to get a bedrock of competence, really.
I think definitely that the Daily Mile has made them understand that fitness isn't there just to make you exhausted. It's not there to torture you in the way some of them thought it was, but it's actually there to help energise them. We were looking at, especially in year 6, how getting their heart pumping round reoxygenates the body, and then how that means that they can think better, their brain's working better when they go back into class.
I think it's about being aware of your own activity levels, it's being aware of your own stamina and strength, but also there's that link in for me about personal well-being and mental health, that recognition of needing time for yourself, to take care of yourself physically and emotionally. And I see the Daily Mile leading into all of those areas.
So the Daily Mile gives children in schools and teachers a point of connection in their day, and so they can have an extra 15 minutes where children can interact with their teachers in a different way. If the teachers are walking around and doing the Daily Mile as well, then everybody's role modelling physical activity for everybody else. This isn't just something that the children do or the teachers do, this is something that everybody can do, and we know that role modelling is really important in kids. But we also know that the sense of relatedness, so the connection that people feel and the bond people feel between one another, is really important for our emotional health. And so we know that from many studies that we run in terms of physical activity as well. Those people who feel more related to one another and more connected and more understood in terms of their physical activity are also those who are more active and have greater motivation to be active.
We enjoy just having a little break from class and having a little run.
And it keeps us quite fit as well.
You get lots of exercise.
I enjoy running around and having some fresh air from class.
For me, I do a lot of sailing. You need to be very fit for sailing. Daily Mile is a good way of doing that in school. And you just get a bit of fresh air in the middle of a very boring lesson. I don't know if I was supposed to say that in front of teachers.
It's just I like stretching because Usually when we sit inside for a long time it gets a bit tiring and hot. Yeah. And you come out for fresh air. And it's great to get a break because sometimes you can't do your best once you've not had a break because you get all tired and sleepy.
Yeah, it's nice to it just keeps us fit and also a little break from class as well.
It helps us get fit for any challenges ahead of us. So if we're doing cross country, we all came in top third. I came first, second, third.
There's no sense of failure. Every child, no matter their age, ability or circumstances, succeeds at their daily mile. Medical experts have told me that they believe the daily mile can make a difference to the mental and physical health of all children. The Scottish Government has written to all schools and nurseries to encourage them to participate in the daily mile, and I quote, to help reduce, this bit gets me, the health inequalities within Scotland and to reduce the impact on the NHS. TDM, the Daily Mile, closes the gap.
We know as well as physical health benefits, we know that physical activity is associated with mental health benefits, whether that's reductions in incidence of depression and anxiety in young people, or whether that might be some evidence, although not particularly strong, on academic attainment. We need, again, more evidence on that, but again, it points in the right direction. And so the Daily Mile, as a relatively regular dose of physical activity, of course, has the potential to get kids active, and getting kids active can be associated with good things mentally and physically.
Youngsters get it and they get the idea that you do things on a more repetitive basis. But what you want to do is to get that habit ingrained so that as youngsters, teenagers and then young adults, that they see it as being part of what becomes their life. And obviously there's no reason why in the world of work you don't say to yourself, well look, instead of parking my car at the nearest part to the supermarket door, I'm going to park it the furthest part. You walk to the door, or on the North Beach, park it as far away from where you're going to go. So actually you're encouraging yourself to do that little bit of extra walk, rather than this sort of desire, oh, I'll save 3 minutes by parking closer. Well, actually park 10 minutes away and get that extra walk.
The Daily Mile gives us an example of an institution-led intervention. So this is an intervention embedded in schools, and in the same way that schools have embedded this, they found 15 minutes in their day. It's possible for workplaces, for adults to find 15 minutes, 10 minutes in their day. And so we know, for example, one of the biggest potential health benefits can come from walking, because we know that most people can walk. Most people don't need new kit to walk. They can get up from their desk and go and walk. And so building physical activity into the day, especially simpler things like walking, is a way to get the mass participation in physical activity up. We know that exercise isn't for everybody. We know that sport isn't for everybody. So really what we want to focus on in promoting physical activity at a population level, especially in Guernsey, is lifestyle physical activity. So that involves workplaces, it involves how you commute to work, how you get home, what you do at the weekend, whether you have a dog and walk it, all those things. But yeah, absolutely, the Daily Mile example could be replicated elsewhere.
So I'd like to finish on a quote from Dr. Elaine Wylie, Scotland's Chief Medical Officer at the time, who came to see the Daily Mile once and then came back again because she liked it so much. She said, like all really good ideas, the Daily Mile is simple and easy to implement. I was blown away by the enthusiasm of parents, staff and most importantly children for the concept. If all schools adopted it, we'd have an incredibly powerful antidote to the ills resulting from physical inactivity that plague modern day Scotland. And so I'd like the Daily Mile to be an entitlement for all children in Guernsey and beyond in order to help them to thrive. Thanks for listening.